a little lower than the angels. Well, do we play for pennies without the bishop's permission? Said Garvey. Lucy looked doubtful. If that otter sees us collecting money, but it was obvious he was tempted. To put on a play in a town which had let its mysteries lapse for 5 years, it was a serious temptation. Garvey made a show of waiting for Lucy's opinion, but his mind was already made up. I say we give them the Balaam and his ass, just you, me and the boy, and a very discreet gathering of their farthings. That little pine marten doesn't frighten me. It was a strange, small, unambitious play about a man and his donkey who encounter an angel. The donkey can see the angel, but the rider cannot. Garvey was to take part of the Balaam, and Lucy his donkey, but it seemed Lucy had lost a lot of weight since the last time they played it. The weight of Garvey on his narrow, bony shoulders, combined with the close fit of the donkey head, seemed to cause him some distress, because he suddenly reeled up against the wall and snatched off the head. His cheeks were swollen and sucked in like hollows between his teeth. Garvey's leg was scraped against the wall, and he got down complaining. They changed roles, and Lucy climbed on the playmaster's shoulders, his weight hardly bending Garvey's back. Here was Gabriel's chance to leave his wooden perch and stand centre stage with a huge property sword as tall as himself. Feet splayed, shoulders back, all he had to do was look ethereal, wield his sword, and remember one verse of poetry. So he did not understand why Izzy touched him on the shoulder before they began and said, "At the first sign of any trouble, just stop, right?" Her frown was worse than ever. A little crowd gathered readily enough. When he went on, Gabriel drew a spectacular sigh from all the women watching. The crowning of Balaam, and the donkeys soon had them hooting and pointing and calling out to Balaam, "An angel! An angel! Can't you see?" A boy sitting on a wall fell off backwards and came running round to the end of the wall, a moment later saying, "What have I missed? What have I missed?" Gabriel stood feet apart, shoulders back, his outstretched hand resting on the hilt of a big tin sword. He practiced his lines over and over again inside his head until his lips began to move as he repeated them. Balaam whipped on his donkey. The donkey threw its rider to the ground in a dozen different hilarious ways. Once it threw Lucy halfway back across the stage, and he landed on his back at Gabriel's feet. It was so funny. Gabriel had to bite his cheeks to stop him from bursting out laughing. Then he saw the look on Lucy's face, the long strip of sweat down the centre of his shirt, and realised he was not enjoying himself, and that Garvey was. It did not seem that funny after that, and when Gabriel saw Izzy's cropped head turn away from the stage, her hands over her eyes, he suddenly wished the play was over.